This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, good morning all once again. So coming to, let's see, this is one of the uh, I'll say like image maybe today as we are learners. But once we complete this course, you have to make sure this is the one of the whole process. Maybe either you are an ETL guy, either you can be an a reporting guy. Anyone, both of you should know all these roles and responsibilities. So if you are saying for ETL, as we are starting with ADF, Azure Data Factory as an ETL resource. See, you will be the data engineers, and when you work with ETL, you are a data engineer. I'm sorry, the two like cloud. So the upstream of ETL is OLTP, the downstream of ETL is OLAP. You should know perfectly, first of all, what kind of data will be maintained here. What kind of data will be maintained here? I'll tell you, if you are analyzing that in yesterday you were late to office. One way of maintaining the data is second to second what you have done. At what time you woke up, what time you are done with your regular things, and what time you have done your breakfast, and what time you came. So even every single second of information you should carry. That is your OLTP system. So, but generally, do we do that? No. What we will say, what we will do at high level, okay, yesterday due to some reason, whereas I woke up at 6 o'clock, I was late. I have to wake up at some 5:30 or like maybe my route of my journey should take. Means when you are understanding second to second, you have to store that information in the OLTP system. It means it is very detailed. The data is detailed. So the business data will be detailed, day-to-day transactions. But to analyze the business, do we require such way? Why we require day-to-day business? For example, one customer ordered a product. After 6 months, the product got in a problem. So if it is like warranty, within the warranty, the product has to be taken care by the manufacturer, and Amazon is the interpreter between the customer and the manufacturer now. And maybe Amazon is having such agreement for suppose. So now what happens? Amazon should know about the transaction, each and every information. Then that data will be pulled from here. If Amazon want to, here means OLTP system. If Amazon want to understand on the business whether such manager, some manufacturer teams, for example, there are Samsung and Lava, Lenovo, some other companies. Now nowadays helmets also introduced like Vega. Now the manufacturer with whom you want to continue for the next coming calendar year, and with whom we want to break up the agreement, and for whom we have to renewal the agreement. Such all information is required. If Amazon is getting bad name because of some manufacturers, maybe Amazon will stop the business with that particular manufacturer. So in such case, Amazon want this particular database OLAP. It will not give you day-to-day information in the warehouse. It will give you summarized information on the manufacturer basis. For example, like Samsung wise, you got 1 lakh of sales from Amazon. For suppose from Lenovo, you got like 50K, something like this. So on top of it, you will take a decision. to continue with that particular manufacturer or not. Maybe this is one of the way. The other way is what, if the customer is having any issue, and if really the warranty, within the warranty, if the product is as they promised while purchasing, whether manufacturer team is reacting to that or responding to that issue properly or not, on how many like orders raised an issue like this, and how many were handled by manufacturer, and how much guarantee or warranty or like how much responsible they are. On top of it again, Amazon want to take a decision, because if these things are not there, Amazon's brand is going to spoil. So this is one more way. Then Amazon at overall it will ask how many Samsung orders we got, how many they got issues, and how many they got resolved, and how many they got good feedback from the customer. Such all overview information will have. So the detailed information from OLTP will be taken and will be summarized into the OLAP. Who will do this process? As a ETL. The interpreter between OLTP OLAP is ETL. So we use ADF resource to connect to the Amazon. Maybe it can be an on-premises, maybe it can be in a cloud service. Anything, any kind of data, it will try to extract and it will try to convert into summarized. So first I'll target to cover the downstream OLAP, how the dimensions are derived, how facts are derived. Next, I'll cover where what kind of data will be converted into dimensions and facts. So I'll cover OLTP first. Next, so the first from tomorrow, if we start till Friday, we will have the data warehousing concepts. So tomorrow is our regular session, and pre-define, I'm telling you, it's like all of the theory part I'll cover. It's not practical implementation, but you'll get good understanding, because your dimension means what, fact means what, how we are doing practical implementation means using ETL. So in such case, first of all, if you know theoretically some part, see whenever engineer want to construct, give a model, he never directly go and do the physical implementation directly. First, he will take pen and paper. First, logically, he'll think, okay, this is the requirement. 5 floors should be there. In 5 floors, there should be 10 families, means 10 apartments. I mean, 10 flats. So each flat should have three rooms. That is like three double bedroom, triple bedroom. And in each room, there are these many windows, balconies has to come. So in such case, what the plan should be, what is the entrance, where the steps should be placed, where the lift will be there. So like this, logically he will think first. Then he will put pen and paper and some uh, like a modeling, like some conceptually he will have some information on the pen and paper. Next, if it is approved from the client, then he will go to the next level to design using the tools. So those are like AutoCAD tools. Similarly, we will learn theoretically first what is OLAP, how the data will be stored. So on top of it, we will see how do we work with ETL in and out, and how we derive the data from the dimensions and facts. How do we load from OLTP? So that's why I first cover data warehousing concepts that will start from tomorrow. Next, we will start SQL. SQL means it's not simple. I'll cover very, very important concept. It will be practical. You can enjoy, you can see, you can have something. If you have good knowledge, it's good, and or else if you can learn something, you can learn from here. So once you are good at these two things, the upstream and downstream of ETL, you are very perfect. Then we will start ETL. So then we are going to cover from step by step process of ADF. So today, once again, this image is not a simple demonstration image. It's like high level image which will help you to get good understanding in the whole BI environment. If you stick on to the BI tools, ADF is one of the resource, BI resource. One of Power BI is the one of the resource. So I strongly recommend to know these steps. Maybe I'm taking Amazon, but any business will have the same. In your real time also, the project architecture mostly will be in the same design. Here and there, some changes might be there. Maybe if client is prestigious, they want to maintain some pre-prod, some servers would be different, but at high level, this is the overview. I'll tell you quickly. The customers from different regions might use their equipments to sign up into this business. When they do sign up, the details or credentials are going to store in the OLTP system. So when I don't sign up, if I enter into Amazon's website, I'm a general customer. If I am sign upping, I'm a customer. If I'm a customer, I cannot give the credentials every login, new credentials I cannot give. You will have one credential. You can use that credential. If your credentials are wrong, Amazon or OLTP will not allow you to get in login into that Amazon's e-commerce website. So that means your data is storing somewhere. That is OLTP. When you purchase, you are a customer. When you have an exchange policy on that product, you are going to be exchanging. You can, if you want, or else you can do return also. So those products can be any category or subcategory can be. These categories, subcategories will be defined by the manufacturer. And once the product is ordered, the manufacturer will ready the product. That product will be given to the delivery team. That information. Delivery team will collect the customer address and will pick up the product from the manufacturer and go and deliver to the customer. This is what the business which is happening on one side of the database, which is OLTP, RDBMS. So that's why we say RDBMS means which helps to run the business. RDBMS means, so RDBMS is the terminology while learning. But I strongly recommend to make a habit of real-time terminologies like OLTPs, OLAPs, because maybe your manager or anyone going to ask you or ask in the interviews also, what is your OLTP server? From which database you are getting the data, and what kind of source you handled, what experience you have in handling some non-structured databases. So these are the some high-level questions, and these all things you should be able to answer when we say that today is our last day. So I strongly recommend learn the concept. If you are knowingly or unknowingly, or if some suggestions you came into I can tell you, and even I am the one of example, like 15 years, I don't have any issues in my IT career. Whenever I want to quit the job, I can quit. Even I can want to get a new job again, even I can get. Because the BI stream is a very good upgrowing stream day to day, but it never get the downfall. Maybe like testing team or any other teams. Because we give suggestions, we give some decisions making system, data warehouse database. We will maintain the data. Maybe you are in ETL or reporting, I'm saying. It's not only ETL side. But if you have both, really your life is like something we can say which is hardcore. But of course, if you feel that is a burden, first try to get any good job in ETL side, ADF resource. If you are not working, if you are working, you can shift your stream to ADF or any ETL. Then the other way, if you are perfect and if you feel you got good hands-on, then go with other reporting tool. So when you have this end-to-end BI process, definitely you'll have. It's my experience. I'm saying it's like good demand you'll have. So this is all about up to OLTP to run the business we will use. Later on, This same data will extract and do the transformation accordingly and load the data into the warehouse, which is OLAP. Data warehouse database. So mainly the projects. ETL can be used with multiple process of the projects. It's not like only for data warehouse database means no. You can do integrations also. For example, your OLTP server is already configured with DB2, which is IBM's product. Now the client want to convert this DB2 into SQL Server. Then this is called DB migration. In such case, extracting the data into from DB2 and doing required some updations and loading into SQL Server also ETL can do. So in such case, this is called like DB integration, DB migration project. So in such case also ADF can be used, not only ADF, any ETL process. So, but first of all, you should know which kind of project you are showcasing in your resume. Is it a data warehouse project or integration project or a migration project? Integration means, as I said, maybe the client data till now is no, storing in non-DB sources like flat files, text files, or Excel sheets or XMLs. So these all non-DB sources I want to extract and integrate them into a single database in the target, maybe Teradata kind of thing. Then this is called integration project. So ETL means it's not only the warehouse projects you do, you can work on, but 80 to 90% of the projects will be in the data warehouse only. So generally we use, but because if you say you are working on ETL, maybe in the work environment you can do any kind of work, but in interviews, try to showcase it as a data warehouse projects because which is highest percentage we have to target it. The lowest percentage maybe you might have, but keep in your resume, but don't highlight it, but highlight with the data warehouse projects because these all things are estimations or estimations. What is dimension? What is fact? How do you maintain history? What all the rules we have to follow? Those all things we are going to talk in the first 3 hours, which is from tomorrow. That is data warehouse database. And those all practically we have to implementation after completion of the ETL process. Up to the data loading into OLAP is your responsibility as an ETL developer. I repeat, up to OLAP loading the data and arranging the data in the form of dimensions and facts is our ETL responsibility. From here, the BA developers, maybe Power BI, maybe Tableau, maybe ClickView, any tools will come and extract the data from OLAP and generate the data in the form of reports. So this graphically represented information will be shared to the BDMs of the client. BDMs means business development managers. This is your roles and responsibilities of the BI developer. So reporting developer, why we are not calling nowadays, BI tools are performing the ETL also. But Power BI, if you say Power Query, we extensively don't use actually. So they will use instead of Power Query component in Power BI with ADF only. That's why we cover ADF also for them. And even for us to have some knowledge on downstream, we will talk on data reports also. I'll show you some basic advanced reports how they extract and how do they convert into the visuals like such all things. Okay, so I hope my main intention is today and tomorrow or like yesterday and today you have to be strong in this image. You should know theoretically, okay, extraction, transformation, load, but it might not complete picture. I don't deny it, and I don't expect like complete picture what all the things you do. But now I'll talk practically what we are going to do. I'll talk about it. But I strongly say if you are very perfect on handy with this image, each and every step, I'll tell you you can feel a very good experience the moment we complete the training. I want that the people who are attending the trainings to with me. Maybe of course, business wise we see fee structures, we see all those things that is secondary. But as a trainer, actually maybe if I work alone is enough. But maybe it's my some extra curriculum I have. to do. So I'll give some trainings. So I strongly recommend, if you have this demonstration video like students today's, just if you have some time, go through and keep handy what I am talking for so far. So tomorrow in the data warehouse, I'll come in the concepts wise, I'll ask you some questions. Means it's not like question and answer, it's like just generally, if you know you can answer it, but make sure it will be like a game, so you can feel. For example, usually if I go a movie, I'll try to expect what is the next scene based on the current scene. I'll try. Maybe sometimes I'll fail. In some cases I'll be expecting the correct. So when I feel expecting correct, I feel something okay, which I can also take a movie. For suppose if I'm sitting in the theater, even we get motivated to go into the movies also in some cases. So in such case, if you are in training of this particular part, I recommend, if you people feel that you are coming to know what I'm talking about, definitely you can be like something well known. So that is the what I want to target. Okay. So coming to the next concept, I'll show you somewhat ADF resource today, and some. To be honest, today I have some. It's climate-wise, we are not feeling good, like cold and fever, like. But still, just give you higher level. I'll give you some information about the tool. Uh, so, see, this is your cloud environment. If you say you're working with cloud, that to Azure cloud. So ADF is purely it's a Azure component, Azure resource. Means, for example, Databricks. If you see, Databricks is a resource where you can get availability of the resource from any cloud, AWS cloud, Google cloud, Azure cloud. You can get, but ADF is not like that. ADF is purely Microsoft resource. We can configure it only in the Azure cloud. So ADF stands for Azure Data Factory. So first of all, if you want to go and start working with ADF means, definitely we should be aware of cloud first of all. So I'll just talk about the cloud configuration in the coming session. So first you need to know the cloud environment. How do we log in into cloud? Portal.azure.com. How we get login credentials and how we have to set up the account. Definitely, these all things we will talk in detail. No worries. But for now, I'll just log in and see. This is your, maybe if you are logging in very new and very first time, you might not see all these things. You might not see all these things. These are the resources where I have login and I'm working from past 1 month or somewhere. So this is like your 1 month trial period you'll have from Microsoft Azure, but you should have the some card details like credit card and some normal debit card also. If you can have, you can log in. I'll give you such information. So if you go to the subscriptions, it's a free trial subscription. I just renamed it. So it's like someone person who allowed, I mean, given me some option, like credit card option. So that's where I have just named him, like Microsoft free Narendra account. So with his details I got. So some amount I'm getting, it is free only. It's not like maybe like if you see this is what my credit remaining 12,751. So when you start up the account, you will get 13 14,300 as the free. So this is my remaining credit. And exactly 1 month, if you have how much amount of this rupees if you have, those all will be vanished, means they'll be closed. So 25th of previous month I have created this configuration. So this is the 22. So to by Friday I have to maybe finish up these all amount, or else it can be closed. So this is all the information about the account at high level. So if you want to configure the ADF resource, you can just click on create resource. We can see here different categories on the left hand side. These all categories may be in our IT sector. The project is not alone with one particular tool. They are combination of networking side, they're combination of front-end tools, management tools, Internet of Things integrations, which is our integration process, ETL process, or analytics, which is the next blockchaining, computing the servers, VMs, containers creation, database setuping. So Microsoft Cloud is going to support all these various streams through the resources. Okay, so if you feel, as I said, ETL stands for extraction transformational load, and one of the transformation integration. So if I just come down to this integration, I can see ADF resource in the integration also, and I can have analytics in the analytics category. Okay, so as it is a cloud, we will get some changes regular basis. See, in the analytics also we have data factory. In integration also we have data factory. Means the data factory is responsible for these two streams. I said no. The project is not. When I say data warehouse project analytics, but there is no difference of configuring idea from here, configuring from ADF from integration. There is no difference. There are resources are same. So now this is all like if you want to create a resource from here you can create. And if you want to load some data, we should have storage accounts, and maybe you can have databases, and Databricks also we have like we can configure it. Okay, so now if I say I have ADF batch morning 9 a.m. resource, you can have any number of resources. If I go here, so this is your window where it can help you to launch the studio. So if you just launch the studio, so it's like just it will take for the configuration also, it will take less time. And one of the feature from ADF, what is the one of the feature is, you might aware why we are coming into the cloud. One of the way to get 24 by 7 access and making the client, maybe I have just spoken to you the client, I mean, what is difference of on-premise and cloud service or not, I'm not sure. I'll just repeat it. So cloud service, maybe like cloud service, this is just I'm not good at doing, but it's like cloud for suppose. And on premises means nothing but physical CPUs or something. Okay, so this is your so on premise. The difference of this is quickly I'll give you simple information. If you say you are staying in a gated community, and if you are having some multiple blocks in it, and in each block there are 5 floors. In each floor we have 5 flats, so total 4 blocks. In each block, like 25 flats. So 4 into 25, some 100 flats are there. So for this, one maintenance office will be there. If you handle your inverter on your own, that is on premise. If you say your maintenance office is providing some wiring to your flat, and whenever the power consumes, means power problem, immediately maintenance people will take care to on this generator. Okay, so now this concept is nothing but a cloud. Means who are the cloud providers? Amazon, Microsoft, Google, GCP. So these three are the cloud platform providers. Where like ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, or retail like Ratnadeep, these all people will. So whenever till 2015, means from 2015 extensively the cloud services are coming into picture, but before to that, mainly we used on premises only. So the on premises will make the clients burden, because the on premises servers should be 24 by 7 on, because because of that the temperature should be very cool. The power bill of that, everything should be maintained by the client itself. If any problem, there is a server down, client has to take care. For example, there is a corona situation which is all shut down. For suppose you cannot shut down on premises, so it is again extra expense from the client side, even though there is no business. But if you go to cloud, what will happen? If you don't require services for few hours also, you can stop that service, you will not be charged for it. That is the one thing best with cloud. So like this we have futures for best things. Means if any server downtime also, cloud will take care. AWS has to take care. If I am agreed to support my infrastructure with Azure cloud, they have to take care. If any downtime, they are responsible. I am not, but I have to pay monthly this much. So this is one thing from the cloud and on-premise service. So one more best thing is cloud. Maybe this you might heard DevOps, CI/CD, continuation integration, continuation deployment. So it is asking to set up the repository to do this. This is one of the future again from not only this cloud, any other ETLs like KDF as well. So this will be more easier way when you are in cloud. Maybe in on-premise also we can do. If you just give the repository information to the GitHub, the DevOps team, those people will try to deploy the deploy the code with automation. But still, cloud if you have, it will be more benefited and faster. So supports ADF supports such kind of repository configuration. So that's what Git repository or Azure DevOps or GitHub with either Azure DevOps or GitHub. So GitHub is there, Git is there. There are like differences with them. We'll talk them later. So maybe you can set up at the starting or you can start at the end also. Okay. So if you see, these are the 4 different windows, I'll say, or tabs will say. I said here 5 are there, but this one is all about Learning Center from Microsoft. Of course, you can go to here also and get licensed, but here I'll tell you, if you take some time, it will take long time to do this learning. Okay, but of course, some basic information, yes, definitely we can get. So the next thing is manage. Here we have to set up the environment of linked service, integration runtime. These all things you have to set up on your own. What is linked service? What is IR? I'll talk very in detail, but these are the main resources of the ADF. I said the OLAP, OLTP, and OLAP. These are two different servers, two different resources. For suppose these two we have to interconnect with ETL. So ADF is the interpreter between OLTP. If you want to create the connectivity between these sources, we use linked service. So integration runtime again, maybe your source data, maybe your target data may lay on cloud or on premises. The ADF has to able to pull the data which is from cloud, which is from on premises also. So even the data warehouse database need to be maintained. For example, Snowflake is one more cloud. I'll just show you how do we configure the Snowflake as well. So this integration ETL load will happen within the Snowflake. On top of it, the Power BI is just reports generation. Okay, so this is how we can say that ADF is configured. Okay, so remaining options I'll talk in the coming sessions. But for now, where you do actual development means in the other tab. In the home tab, you can have some templates, which I don't recommend now to understand what is a template, because these are predefined ETL processes. Predefined ETL processes. That means what? You need to just configure with the different source, with the different target. That's it. The whole ETL will be injected. I don't recommend as of now because we are in the starting concept. Even orchestrate, but within different way, code free, and transform data flows, and SSIS configuration. For now, I'm just striking off. But once we complete this ADF training, at the end, this part also, because it is advanced level, and even you will not learn anything if you start working with these templates. So I strongly don't recommend now, but maybe in the future, yes, we have to. So that is your home tab. Other tab, step by step process you people need to implement. So these are the different objects or like different flows. Power Query is the one which is from Power BI. We will talk about the pipelines, data sets, data flows. While creating a data set, definitely we have to know the linked service. And when you are call or creating a data flow, you should know about the data set. What is data set you are taking, on what top of it you are working. If you want to run pipelines, your data flow should be created by that time. I don't say they are recommended as in having the dependencies. Definitely, data set if you want to have, you should know what is the linked service we have to use. Linked service means what I said, connecting from various sources to various sources. So from different servers or resources. The connectivity will be established if you create a linked service. Once the linked service is created, see if I go and see here, JSON. Where is this linked service we have? Which what is this configuration we have did? If you want to see, you can just edit and see. But for now, really, I'm not again interested. So as today is the starting. I mean, like some overview I'm giving. I'm not ready to. So uh, maybe it will be confusing or it will be overburdened to you if you feel it will be not easy way. So that's why. But so when I come to ADF and we'll start step by step, I'll take off of the time of the class to create a data set only because it is that much important. On top of it, those data sets which are created, we call into the data flows. If you see the data flows, I said data flows means ETL transformations. If you see, these are all the transformations that we have to learn. Where the data flow transformations, you have to use and implement the ETL process within the ADF. Once these data flows are designed, then you are going to call the data flow into this pipeline, and you are going to debug here. Debug means running. It's nothing but running. When you just run this data flow, see, this is your data flow inside. Earlier also I shown you from the data flows. Directly I opened data flow and I shown you earlier. Now I just opened the pipeline and I just double click on the data flow. Within that I got open this window. So Windows wise, step by step navigation I'll do. No need to worry. If you are feeling something discomfort for now, no need to worry at all. So all about the thing is, you need to configure the source settings, source options, projection, optimize. These are all simple things. No need to worry. And maybe here there are quite common components we have. For example, data flow, optimize, inspect, data preview is similar with many transformations. For example, if I say if I want to go with another transformation, see, optimize, inspect, preview. If one time if you talk, it replicates with the same thing within all the things, but only small change will have within 3 to 4 transformations. It's quite simple, but it's not as maybe if you feel like it's very easy and if you get neglected, I am not interested in that way. So maybe it's look simple, but you have to know the settings first of all. It's very important things that we need to know. So once you complete this data flows, first I'll target to complete the data flows, means nothing but the transformations, and what is optimize, what is inspect, what is projection, and what are some this schema drift, drifted column types. These are also important. These all things once we are done, then we will go for the pipeline. Within the pipeline, we have few things to discuss like activities. Maybe not all of them. So within our training, machine learning is not there. Within our training, SD insights are not there. But I'll try to show with notebook, Databricks some configuration. So I need to talk something basics. So Databricks wise we'll talk and few activities we use from here. This is all like data flows transformation we need to complete. Once we are done with that, these pipelines and all, we do small project like which is end-to-end implementation of the BI. Maybe in the training also I'll show you the complete flow of the BI environment. Okay. So again today also the practical implementation I did not do, but maybe if you see the settings configuration is very simple. Just because of some environmental changes, I mean not environment like climate changes, I got some discomfort, so that is the reason I'm not able to show the practicality, or else it's 8:54. Okay, quickly I'll design one thing. See, quickly I'll design one flow and we will talk about. I have here, I said first data sets are important. Your source data sets are placed in storage accounts, maybe in the database also, but for now I'm just using like storage account. Within the storage account, containers. Within the containers we have like it's taking some time. I don't know why. My network is also good, but today, today due to some all sudden conditions, I was taking from my home, so network might be slow. But the regular sessions I'll take from office itself, so it would be more better. This is affecting the speed. Okay, gateway timeout. Okay, fine. Anyhow, this is also not supporting us, but still, maybe uh, if you are able to navigate and understand something about ADF at high level. See, now we got. So if you just see here, we got like source. These are containers. As simple as in our local mission, how we are saying the folders. Simple. These are simple like containers. In the cloud environment, we say store containers. In our local on-premises, we say they are like folders. So in the CSV container, I have loaded one of the CSV file. If I see P and L, which is like some information with the 5 columns, and I have some data here. So this is R&D, which is research and development, administration office details. So for advertisement, what is the amount happening and what is the city, what amount and what profit they are getting, I want to analyze. So the administration office is having some information about the advertisement cost based on city, and they got profits based on the city as well. So what is the expense for advertisement and what is the profit they are getting? Every time the expense should be more, correct or not? But if it is not, then there is a wrong step. So that we have to take overtake. So that is the reason where this data will be helpful. Okay. So coming to this kind of data, if I want to extract into ADF, I have to create a data set first. When I take a data set, it is going to ask me what kind of source you have. I'll set like blob storage information. I have like CSV file, and I'll say like DS, SRC. Uh, I said PNL, right? PNL data in the form of CSV. So see the linked service it is asking. If I want to go with new, it will ask me what is your subscription. I have chosen which one Azure Blob Storage. That's why it is giving me such options. If I choose database, it will ask database details. So for me now it is asking. Already I have configured one linked service. See here, this is your linked service, which is to for the same container, when you create one linked service for one container, within that container what kind of folders or what kind of storage account, I'm sorry, if you have one linked service for one storage account, what is this storage account, how do we configure these all things, I'll talk in the cloud environment setup. We have the concept of cloud environment, we'll talk about it. So to connect to that storage account, we can use this. And when you connect to the storage account, what all containers we have in it, you can configure, we can connect. So now if I just use CSV connector, and now if you see, we got like PL and CSV, and we can just connect it. You have to know the first row is header or not. If you go to the CSV container and if you see this PLNL, you can see some edit option. Yes, first line is headers. We will go and use first row as header. And next you can just click on OK. Now your CSV connected. It was connected properly or not, if you want to know, go to the preview the data. See now we got some data previewed. So it's looked like okay, everything is fine. We can just publish. If you want to save, you should remember everything should be published. So once you are done with the publishing, you can close this. Now data set is given, data set is created. Now I'll go to the data flows. I'll create one new data flow. So whenever you want to run the data flow debug should on. If just PNL data load, I'm just giving this data flow name. So the tab, if you see, you can just read. So when you connect to the source, you have to concept call the data set. I created earlier, right? So PL, if I just give, it will allow me to get filtered with PL data CSV. So now my source is configured. You can change the source name PL data. So this next, what I want to do, I just want to uh, some filter data. I want to do filter the data, and I want to load it into the target. Syncing is nothing but target. So now you got the information to the source, means almost it will come into this target. So we got some, whenever you take source as a storage containers, we feel we'll have all the strings as a string data type only. If you define the default format, and if you want to detect the data type, you can use this option, so that ADF will see the source up to some thousand records, and it will define the data types. On top of it, we can change. So it is getting detected data type. It is detecting. So next we can go to the filter, and you can just choose. See here, without giving any option of filtering or giving some condition on this, you cannot go further. That's what is showing red, and it is showing like mandatory. So if you open the expression builder, we have functions here which we can work. Expression builder is very important. We will talk continuously 2 to 3 sessions on this part. So coming to like the input schema, we got like city, and the city which I'm having, for suppose I'll take like Paris. Copy and go to this, and equal to we can use here, and we can use like Paris. Just click on save and finish. Now you can go to the data in the target somewhere. Just I'll show you where we are going to load. So if you see, you open this data set, you see the path, and you don't have any file name. You have the path like TGT state. See here. If you just close this and come down to this storage account, we have this TGT container here. TGT container load. You can just open this as a new. Quickly, I'm just going to close. Now your storage account, and we got like containers. See here, TGT's container load. We don't have any file with the name called. I'm just going to give the name now within the sync. See what all the things I'm doing. Don't worry. Single each and everything in detail I'll talk. Okay, no need to worry at all. Excuse me. So this is the file. Do you see the file name anything here like that? No. First sample file load. So this one I'll just try to publish. Publish means save. Without publishing, you can run, but you cannot save that run once you close this ADF. So before closing the ADF, you should make sure everything is published or not. And now I want to create a pipeline to run this data flow. Data flow is designed. Now if I want to run this pipeline, we got like pipeline, I'll just mention it as PL data flow. The PL and data flow name I'll give generally DF PL load. So I need to call the data flow. How do we call the data flow? One, there are multiple ways. One way, data flow activity we have. Within that, we can call and call this data flow which I created. The PL, right? Just if I use PL, see, this is the PL. If I just validate it, so validation is success. Now if I debug, before debugging, once again I'll show you. Do we have any first load and do we have any file loading today? Nothing. Now I'm going to debug. So debug means nothing but running. So see now, this is going to state the status with the output. Once it is success, I'll go and show you. And it should have only the data with Paris. It should have only the data with Paris. Mostly it completed. If you just refresh, see first sample PL data loaded 11/22. Today is 22, right? November 22. So see now. If you want to open this file and if you want to see the data, you can go to edit. Now you'll get the data of only what? Only the Paris. No other city data you see. So this is one of the transformation. How do we open the data flow again? Just double click on this, which is configured in that activity that will be opened. This is our data flow which I designed. This is the file name which I given, right? So this is how loading the data. So extraction, transformation, load. Transformation is filter. Load is the same storage account. Extraction is also same storage account. Some cases from one container to another container also we should load. So we can have such understanding. It's a basic understanding I want to give today. Okay. So we'll meet tomorrow again and we'll continue with the session. So any questions on top of it? Do you feel any difficulty in understanding? If so, also no problem. You can just stay tuned. Like we can clarify all the questions, doubts, everything in the coming sessions. But first we will start data warehousing concepts. Yeah, Aman, do you have anything?
సార్ కాంట్ వి డిస్కస్ ఇట్ ఇన్ తెలుగులో చెప్పుకోవచ్చు సార్? ఒకవేళ నాకు అంటే బిందు అనే అమ్మాయి ఉంది కదా సార్, ఆ అమ్మాయికి ఒకవేళ మీరు చెప్తారంటే.
షూర్, నో ప్రాబ్లం, చెప్తాం. అంటే ఆ, నేను ఒకసారి చూస్తాను. మనకి బిందు ప్లస్ అమన్ అండ్ ప్రదీప్ కూడా మీ ఫ్రెండే కదా?
మా ఫ్రెండ్ కాదు సార్.
ఓకే. నేను ఒకసారి డిస్కస్ చేసుకొని కావాలంటే ఇంగ్లీష్లో కూడా అదే తెలుగులో కూడా చెప్పుకోవచ్చు, ప్రాబ్లం లేదు.
ఓకే ఓకే సార్.
అమన్ మీన్స్ యు ఆర్ నార్త్ ఇండియన్? అంటే మీరు నార్త్ ఇండియన్ ఏమో అనుకున్నాను, లైక్
లేదు
నార్త్
సార్,
ఇండియన్.
నాది చాలా పెద్ద పేరు సార్, షార్ట్ కట్ లో అమన్ అని పెట్టుకున్నాను అంతే సార్.
ఓకే ఓకే.
అమన్న శాస్త్రి సార్ నా పేరు.
ఓకే, శాస్త్రి ఉంటే మీరేనా? ఓకే. యా,
అవునవును
ఫైన్.
సార్.
తెలుగులో నేను ఈ బ్యాచ్ ని తెలుగు బ్యాచ్ లాగా ట్రై చేస్తాను. ఎందుకంటే
ఓకే సార్.
డెఫినెట్ గా తెలుగు అడిగే వాళ్ళు చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు. నేను ఒకసారి వాళ్ళతో కూడా మాట్లాడి ఈ బ్యాచ్ లో తెలుగు బ్యాచ్ కింద, అంటే తెలుగు అంటే అట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ది డే మీరు మాత్రం కంప్లీట్ గా ఇంగ్లీష్ లోకి అయితే మార్చుకోవాలి. ఎందుకంటే ఐటీ
సరే సార్.
సెక్టర్ లో కమ్యూనికేషన్
సరే
అనేది
సార్.
మ్యాండేటరీ. కాన్సెప్ట్ అర్థం అవడం
డెఫినేషన్స్
కోసం చెప్తాను.
ఓకే సార్. ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే
ఓకే సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఫైన్.